Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who still uses thick and rough tree bark as a trowel and a hairbrush. Guys, it's not for his head, though, obviously. It's for his pit hair. This is Carl Mandrioli. How you doing, buddy?
Welcome to the Backpacking Listeners Podcast. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man that thinks that Yosemite was made a national park, so people didn't take it for granted.
That's funny. That was actually pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
I'm float a little bit.
I'm a little nervous for National Parks episode with you, my friend.
Do you like my Big Sur coffee mug here?
I do.
Yeah, I know you want one.
Yeah. Do you think that relates to national parks?
Maybe not. I just thought
I think you do think that, and this is exactly what I was just talking about. I'm nervous about this episode for you because you don't really know what national parks are.
Oh, is that right? I like that you love to just set me up to fail. And today you're gonna be wowed. So I need you to calm down. And I just hope you didn't bring up like lame parks like we all know. You know, did you do a little digging? Did you do a little research?
I've got some good stuff. I think, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have any crossover, but just going back to what just happened, I said I was nervous about you with this episode, and you're like, "Well, check out my non-national park mug that I think is a national park."
It doesn't have to be a national park mug. It's still a park. Sure. It's the Redwoods, Big Sur.
Exactly. If you have a list of 3 to 4, at least 1 or 2 are going to be non-national parks on your list. Is my prediction.
Sure. Okay. Great.
Okay, we'll find out.
Whatever you want.
We'll find out.
Whatever you want to think.
All right.
That's fine.
What would make a national park bad for backpacking, in your opinion?
Conditions, poor trail signage, poor trail maintenance, difficult permits, and probably overcrowding.
Okay.
So, those are probably the basics, but I don't know. I found some that I was like, why would anybody go here and consider it? I don't know. It's just, I found some that are just, I don't know. I'm surprised people even go to some of these, but they do.
And the hope is that we're not just going to focus on why you shouldn't go somewhere, but we'll provide some alternatives as well along the way.
You can. It's fine.
Yeah. Because I know some alternatives.
I'm just giving you the dirty.
You'll just show your mug and be like, Big Sur, go to Big Sur.
Well, they should go to Big Sur, but B, I'm just going to tell them where not to go.
Okay.
Saving them agony.
And so anyway, this episode is brought to you by Enlightened Equipment, the lightest quilts to bring to the best national parks. Check them out at enlightenedequipment.com. All right. Bible verse of the episode is Psalm 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? So keeping that in mind, it's like, who shall I fear? Derek, what's the scariest place you've ever been to?
Scariest place? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I would say, gosh, I got to think about that. It was probably a small village in, where was that? I think it was in Jamaica, actually. Okay. Fiji or Jamaica, I don't remember. And it was,
I don't remember. I go everywhere in the world, so it's one of those random island places.
It was one of those random island. I think it was Jamaica, and we were doing some like missionary work or whatever, and then a bunch of the local men surrounded our group and were making kind of threatening remarks and whatnot. So I was like, oh, this is this could go bad quick. But as far as like creepy environment, like are you talking like that kind of, or are you talking like creepy environment like nature? Works. I mean, for me, the Jamaican place is probably the scariest because you're like, oh, I feel like actually, like something could really bad happen right now. So luckily it didn't. But yeah, here I am, Carl.
Okay.
All right. What about you? Is it, other than the bathroom, like what's the scariest?
The bathroom's pretty scary for sure. I mean, scariest place for me when I almost died in Yosemite. So there's that spot on Yosemite Falls. I think
that's right.
Yeah, where you're trapped in a waterfall is probably scariest place. But the reason why I asked that question is because on my list, at least, I do have one national park that you can consider like just straight up scary. That's why it's on the list. So see if you agree.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, there's a little something to it. There's like a lot to it. So we'll get to that. All right. So you got, what are you on your list? You got 3 or 4 of the
I have 3. Let me see. I have 3. Did I do a 4th? I think I might have done a 4th. Yeah. No, I did 3. No, I have 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I got 4. What do you got? 4?
And you had a good definition for the most part for why one might make your list. To add to what you said,
Yeah.
I feel like there's like 4 major hindrances of like overregulation. You mentioned like the permits and stuff, but I would add to that like limitation of campfires, requiring bear canisters, established backcountry sites. They don't let you choose kind of your own backcountry site. There's like a lot of criteria. So I'm curious how that shook out for you. But we don't have to go in any order. Just kind of.
I went extreme. I went extreme.
All right.
Why don't you go first?
I'll go first. Okay.
I mean, how many?
I got 4? A bunch of them.
You got 4?
I got 4 on my list, but my first category kind of hits a few of them. So
category. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you'll see.
Please.
Worst national parks for backpacking. I would say, shocker, every national park that doesn't actually allow backpacking, and there's some out there, surprisingly.
That's a very general.
Well, a lot of people think I want to hit some different national parks, and so Acadia is a popular park to visit, but you can't actually physically backpack there.
Just day trips.
So,
is that what we're saying?
Yeah, just day trips. And then there's some that you can backpack in, like Arches National Park, for example, but you can't backpack in the good spots where the good arches are. You're on like the outskirts of the area, and it's just like there's nothing.
What's the point?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that a little while ago.
Yeah, because I think you wanted to go there, right?
Yeah, I've only driven by a couple times. I've never stopped by.
Yeah, it's probably you're close to having stopped by just driving by. It's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing. Like I probably pretty much saw it, so I'll just count it.
Yeah,
I'll just count it. Yeah.
So Acadia and parks like that, or that have very limited backpacking, like I would not even try. So there you go.
Okay, that's good. That's a fair one. My first one, I don't know. This is kind of funny. I thought it kind of stuck out to me. So this was just named a national park in 2018. And in my opinion, it should be more of a national monument, but the city decided to name this place a national park to strengthen their tourism hopes and their economy and all this stuff. So this is kind of a funny one, but it's the Gateway National Park, the Arches or the Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, where they named it. I renamed it a national park. And I'm like, this is not a national park. Yeah, go ahead, get your Google out.
I'm looking at it.
I love that, like, when we do these shows, like, immediately doubts me. Why do you even have me do this stuff?
Immediately, I doubted you. While I came up with the topic, it was even before
I'm glad. You know what? Here, folks, B&B family, here's what I saw. I'm on here. This is on the YouTube channel. He's like, "What's your first one? Tell me your first one." I was like, I name it, and his arms immediately just like jut forward to the keyboard, and I'm like, "Listen, you have some control issues, and I love you, but like, dude,
it's not control. It's lack of faith in your research.
I gotta verify. He thinks I'm dumb, and that's fine.
No, I don't think you're dumb. I just don't. Dude, you're super smart, man. Are you serious?
Oh, I know that, but I don't know if you know that.
I think you're highly intelligent, but for whatever reason, there's a gap in your knowledge about what is a national park, and that's why.
Why don't you look it up? Why don't we all pause the show and look it up? Go ahead.
You're correct. I looked it up. This is a great answer.
What?
Great answer.
What?
But can you go backpacking under the arch?
Did I stump you? The great man really didn't know that. That's crazy. I just taught you something today. You're welcome. You know what I'm gonna hold? I'm gonna hold up my Big Sur non-national park mug here and show you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, it was crazy though. I thought, why would they do that? It's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go hit all the national parks now because there's people that have that bucket list. I got to get all the national parks, and now you got to go do that.
You just answered your own question. Why they would do this? Because they're trying to bring tourism there.
I guess, but like, I would be extremely disappointed if I'm thinking national park, I'm thinking hiking, I'm thinking trails, I'm thinking all this other stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's like a monument, big deal.
Well,
you do that in like an hour.
Monument. There's national parks, or there's national monuments that could be national parks. Like, I don't even really know the difference because a lot of times they have trail systems. This one doesn't. But would you agree that this still hits the same category I literally just said as places you can't go backpacking?
Yeah, but I didn't know you wrote that, so
okay,
I'll put that in my can't go backpacking category.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough.
Okay.
All right. All right. That's a good one.
All right.
Now I'm gonna get a little bit controversial because I know that there's folks that either want to go to some of these places I have on my list, or they have been there and they might defend them to their death. But I'll start with an easy one. So I put out a few years ago on our Patreon site, like I was like, hey, where do you guys want to have the next Patreon trip? And I had like a little survey there. And overwhelmingly, the number one answer was Yellowstone National Park.
Ooh,
Yellowstone.
okay. And you're going to disappoint everybody.
People think Yellowstone is, because it's one of the first national parks, it's one of the most well-known national parks, that it is a great option for backpacking. I think it's the opposite. I think if you want to see geysers, if you want to drive the road and see like rando wild animals, I think it's great for car camping, for just visiting, for tourism. But for national parks, it's just going to be a lot of forest and not a whole lot else. There's not a lot of epic scenery in Yellowstone for backpacking.
Right.
Therefore, it's on my list.
It's on your list. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I don't, I mean, driving through is probably the better option in my opinion, but people like, don't really care about that. They want to go like camp it and do it, even though it's maybe not as like grand as like a Yosemite or some of these other places that we've been, but Glacier National, but I don't know. Right. I mean, you're also out there with like some pretty gnarly animals out there too, right?
I mean, if you're looking for that, but a lot of people are like afraid of that stuff. So that's the issue, right?
Well, maybe they're afraid. Maybe the animals
I'm not afraid.
Are just wandering through their territory and they decide to pee.
Afraid.
They might pee on your tent. You might try to take a picture of a wolf and something might happen.
That's right.
You're that kind of guy. Yeah, you're that kind of guy.
So I did a day hiking in Yellowstone a few years back to a waterfall. And even that was like just kind of a like yucky waterfall that the Red River Gorge that we went to last year had better waterfalls than that. So I think you could make the case that Red River Gorge minus the animals is a better option.
I mean, do you think they just package Yellowstone as like, it's just, I'm not saying it's not amazing. It's a beautiful place for sure. But like they're packaging it different. Like this is, nature's wild area and it's got these geysers. It's got the wool. It's got all this. It's like untouched in so many areas, but it's not maybe like backpacker friendly as some of these other places are, right? Like you have Yellowstone Glacier and they have like these amazing trails on these ridge lines and you're just seeing valleys and mountains and streams and waterfalls. Whereas like, it's not like that really in Yosemite, right? Oh, I'm going to go see Old Faithful. It's not really that faithful anymore. And then maybe see some cool animals, but isn't it? It's just kind of one big.
Backpacker friendly is an interesting term. I don't know that national parks in general are backpacker friendly. I think they're like backpacker regulated in an increasing way. And there's like Big Brother watching you every step of the way. It feels like in some of those parks, even like Glacier National Park is not on my list. It's not, but I feel like, I mean, how many rangers do we run into in Glacier?
A lot.
Nonstop.
A lot. Yeah. That was the most.
3 the first day.
That was the most
3 the first day. Yeah, backcountry rangers, 3 the first day. So anyway, all right. Yeah. So I offered an alternative. I said Red River Gorge over Yellowstone is what I said. So, and then if you're, I guess we didn't offer an alternative for like the St. Louis Arch. How about any other place? Any place that has a trail would be better.
Any place that has a trail. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right,
dirt.
What's next?
Give me some dirt. Okay, so this is I went with the Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. This is it's become, I'll say, like over commercialized, where there's like a lot of shops now, like people. A lot of the trails that you go on are going to be mainly like sidewalks. It's basically like become a huge mall kind of situation. So in addition to the park fee, you also have to pay like a $10 parking fee. So there are 26 miles of trails. There are some wide trails, kind of like fire roady kind of trails, but it doesn't feel, from the research I'm doing, it doesn't feel like you're out in nature. It doesn't feel like, hey, I'm in the wilderness. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of shops over here and it's just a million people and there's sidewalks for trails and it's like, I don't know. Doesn't really feel genuine.
Can you backpack there?
I mean, it's kind of like you would do, right? You would take the backpack to the store. So it's kind of like that.
I don't think you know. I don't think you looked that up, did you?
I didn't know. Well, once I read all this, I'm like, why would I go?
Okay, we'll just confirm.
Well, think about it. Are you going to bring a huge, like 42 liter, 60 liter, whatever backpack and like walk around with all these people at the shops? Maybe some people do, but
right.
There's 26 miles of all this ridicularity. And I saw nothing of campsites. I don't know.
Okay.
So
I don't think you can backpack there because it says like to go to regulated campgrounds and it looks like it's like,
Oh, you're Googling that too. He's Googling
Oh, no, every answer you have. Every answer. is
answer.
gonna
I
be
love
Googled.
it. I love that. That really promotes confidence in your friend. That's good.
No, I don't have any confidence in you for this episode. I already
I know
told
you
you that.
don't. And
We keep on rehashing it.
are you learning that you're falsely doubting your own friend? Is that what you're learning so far?
No. I think that you've now
You're 0
hit.
for 2. You've become a keyboard warrior troll. That's what you've become. I hope this is in the promo video. Put that in the promo video.
I said, let's knock out all the national parks that don't allow backpacking. And then I listed one specifically with Acadia. And then your first two answers are national parks that don't allow backpacking.
You wanted that parks that were the worst national parks for backpacking, right? So
yep.
I didn't know you were going to come up with your first answers like this was the category for trails, and you should have known that, Derek. Like, how am I supposed? I'm putting these in the worst. This is the worst. Why would I ever go here? What do you want?
I've got
next one.
Okay, this one is one of the most popular national parks in the United States, and this one is going to be controversial for folks. But you and I have both backpacked here, and we both liked it.
You're a
Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah,
Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
On my list, where's to go? First of all, it is a very scenic park, so that part's great. But you can get all that scenery from day hikes. You don't have to go backpacking to capture like special scenery. So let's kind of check that off the list, right? But in the last few years, it has become overly aggressive with their monitoring of people. So, for example, I went last summer. They had a ranger guarding the trailhead, asking to see our bear canisters.
Wow!
And I said, aren't there bear boxes installed at these backcountry sites that you're forcing me to stay at? And she said, yes. And I said, well, do you require us to carry bear canisters if bear boxes are already installed? And she said, yes.
That's absurd.
That's awesome right there. That's super awesome, right?
That is a huge deterrent for me.
Right. No campfires.
It wasn't like that back when we went. Oh.
No, it was better. That's what I'm saying. That this wouldn't have been on my list like 10, 15 years ago. No campfires allowed. The permits are crazy. The trails are overcrowded. You mentioned that. It kind of checks all the boxes of why you wouldn't want to go to a place. Like, don't get me wrong, it's scenic there, and I love being there, but there's so many, it's so overregulated. I mean, just simply, I wasn't at the most popular trailhead, and there was a ranger guarding the trailhead. So I think that says it all.
That's annoying. That is very annoying. Was that the place, remind me, was that the place we saw the llama ranger?
Correct.
That was the same place, right? I wonder if they're still patrolling on llamas.
On llamas? Was she riding a llama? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, with a llama. She had. She wasn't riding it, but she had the llama.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that's.
We can go back and find out. She was a nice ranger. She helped us, and that was great. But
that's still a big deterrent, though. They've clearly like cracked down a little bit. That's a sad situation.
I mean, I live a couple hours from Rocky Mountain National Park, and I'm not going to go there ever again for backpacking. I'll visit for other reasons, but not for backpacking.
Yeah, that's sad. Okay, I got a good one here. I like this one. It was the Indiana Dunes. Indiana Dunes National Park. You can go backpack. However, it was a little different. It was most of the dunes are covered in poison ivy. I don't know if you're into that. And it's also on the shore.
Covered. There's not like there's no sand exposed. It's just you're walking.
Well, there's poison ivy in a lot of places. I'll say that.
Okay.
It's you're so dramatic. It's also on the shore of Lake Michigan, which is near a power plant. So I don't know if you want to hike near a power plant. There were and a lot of the people who were backpacking were like, we thought we would get away from all the noise and it would be nice and peaceful, next to this power plant trail. And they were like, no, we had loud trains. We heard fireworks. We could also hear noises from local bars. So I don't know how close this is getting to the city, but that seems like a really, I don't know, discouraging situation to be in if you wanted to go over there. Right. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Poison ivy? That's good. I think there's not a lot of national parks in the Midwest and the East. And so, there's kind of few and far between compared to the West. So I get it. You want to have something out there, and there's not mountains in Indiana.
There's
so
not a lot. No.
Yeah. So you got to take what you got, right?
You gotta go with the dunes. You gotta go with the dunes.
Yeah. But you don't like them.
I mean, I don't have a desire to do that, but maybe you do.
All right. I'm not doing a very good job of coming up with alternatives here as we're going. So let me backtrack to Rocky Mountain National Park. If you want Rocky Mountains, the area around Rocky Mountain National Park is littered with wilderness areas like Indian Peaks. And then if you go a little farther south, you just sign up for a permit at the trailhead at Lost Creek Wilderness. It's one of my favorite places to go. So there's lots of options.
That was fun.
Indiana Dunes, in terms of alternatives, I don't know. Like, would you go to like
What?
Isle Royale, or would you go to someplace up? Why don't you like that? It's like it's like the least visited national park. You're not gonna get the crowds.
Least visited. I wonder why. Is it on your list?
It's hard to get to. It's Midwestern Michigan National
Right.
Park. It's hard to get to.
Okay. Well,
Gosh.
sounds like a joke. I mean,
All
I
the
guess if you want
Midwesterners
to
that are
go,
listening, which is a lot of them, are loving your attitude, Derek.
it's not that. It's like, if you're saying it's hard to get to, that can be kind of annoying too. Is that a deterrent to go to the
Yeah,
national park?
but that's an attractive part of it. The fact that it's so remote and that there's not a lot of people there.
Is it on your list?
It is.
Oh, there you go. Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Pictured rocks. That's up there too. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right. My last one is
Yeah.
worst national park to go to. This is the scariest one.
okay.
This one, I think, when you say like scary, like what you're concerned about, this one literally has all the scary things.
Like, are you talking like lore and creepy stories and like superstitious stuff going on? Right?
Everything, all the above.
Okay.
Like, it's got aliens. It's got
was
alien
it-
abductions.
Wait. Was this
What?
one of the parks we did in a previous episode where we talked about some creepy stories? Was it in a park? Is this
I don't know.
one of the
Maybe.
parks? No?
We've done a lot of
I think
episodes.
I think it might be. I'm thinking of, we did some like creepy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's got the aliens. It's got like people that go missing without a trace in areas that are not obscured by forest. It's got
talked about this.
Bigfoot. It's got supposedly like a civilization that lives inside the mountain. It's got
Ooh,
everything.
That
Yeah,
seems fun.
It's got
Yeah.
it's Mount Shasta National Park.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
if you are somebody who doesn't want to get like, I don't know, that one suggested that you might be going through portals there and could disappear forever. You could be time traveling through some of these portals. You could be going to different dimensions. There's alien ships that are apparently constantly hovering above. If any of these things are concerning to you, I would avoid this park like the plague.
Sounds like we need to go.
There you go.
Maybe the dwarves are in the mountain. We could, from Lord of the
Could be.
Rings or something. We could meet them.
If a random portal appeared, like who's most likely to kind of fall through it, do you think?
I'm jumping through that. That'd be great.
Are you?
Oh, let's see where
Would
it
you?
goes. Why not?
Okay.
What else am I gonna do?
Because when people supposedly disappear, they don't come back. They're gone forever. It's like without a trace.
Is the porthole going to disappear when I go into it?
Probably.
Is it going to stay there?
I mean, I don't know if portals exist, so I'm not sure I can really give you the lowdown.
You're supposed to know everything. Why don't you just Google that like you did everything else today?
Is there a Portal National Park? I don't think so.
I think there is.
Okay.
It's next to Bigfoot National Park. So
That would be a good national park for sure.
that'd be a great national
Okay.
park.
Do you have any
Those are
more?
good. I did have one more. It's kind of I mean, we could talk about it. It's
Okay.
where
Is it allowed backpack?
I don't know if I'm saying this right. Congaree National Park.
Okay.
Congaree. This is in South Carolina, and
All
it's got. I think the deterrent was it does have a handful of small trails that you can backpack on. However, the longer trails in this park are in a floodplain and they're inaccessible. But one of my biggest deterrents for this park was not that. It was that the trails are poorly maintained. And so oftentimes visitors would go wander off the trail and they'd end up in places that they weren't supposed to be at. And so it's also in what is considered the heart of mosquito country, even in the winter. Yeah. So
Even in the winter. Okay.
even in the winter, as we've talked about previously. So, yeah, it doesn't seem that appealing to me. So,
Okay.
let's
Gotcha.
avoid that one.
I don't know the Carolinas as well in terms of alternatives, but
Well, you're Googling, so you figure it out.
I'm not. I did go with an alternative for Mount Shasta, though. If you're looking for like a little bit kind of edgy backpacking trip, but you don't want all that stuff, I would backpack in and around Area 51 because you know what? That's safer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mount Shasta?
Area 51. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, nothing creepy happens out in Area 51. So it's probably good. Sounds like a promising alternative, though. That's good. Those are good.
It is.
Now
Okay,
I know
so what do we
where to
miss?
not go.
Are we wrong on any of these? Are these places that you'd love to go backpacking and maybe we're missing something? Or are there other national parks that should be on this list? And yeah, let us know.
I'm sure there's more, and I'm sure everybody agrees, and nobody will disagree at all, right?
Well, I'll tell you one. I'll give you one to shoot for that should be a national park, but it's not. If this place were a national park, it would be top 3 in terms of sheer natural beauty. No permits required. Show up at the trailhead. It's super awesome. this is a place that could be an alternative for all of these, and that is the Wind River Range. And there's so many trails there. So I don't know why it's not more popular, but that if you want to add them to your list, like just like you want to talk about Google some pictures there. That should be on your list right there.
That is really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't been there yet, so I'm hoping
I haven't. No, I didn't get to go on that one. So
I've been 3 times now, and you've rejected every single one. But
every
that's
time.
beside the point.
Didn't you do like a family trip over there though?
I did not.
Oh.
I did 2 Patreon trips and one of our July trips.
Okay.
Range.
And you had horrible weather on 2 of those, I think, right?
We had. I mean, it's not the best for weather, but typically we got. I think like 2 or 3 out of the 4 days were good.
2 or 3. All right, that's good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
Yeah, it's good enough. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I got national parks trivia for Derek coming up right after this.
Giddy up.
The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Roan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Roan uses rock-solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie-cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. National Parks Trivia is brought to us by Teton. If you're looking for a backpacking tent, you should consider the Teton Mountain Ultra. It comes in 4 different sizes. It's got high-quality aluminum poles, and it's based in Salt Lake City, and it backs all their products with a lifetime warranty. One thing that impressed me was the Mountain Ultra actually fits the number of people it says it does. If you buy a 2-person tent, it actually fits 2 people. In fact, they've got a video showing how the Teton 2-person Mountain Ultra was the same size as a standard backpacking 3-person tent. So, Derek, when you shop for a tent, like what size are you usually going for and why?
What size am I going for?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd probably go 3-man because I got to think about, obviously, I'm going to share it with somebody, usually you. That's and then I have to account for the amount of rolling that you do. And you try to crush me, and you just take up just a lot of space. Okay. So and then you have the extra wide, egregious sleeping pad. So all these things, I think I have to consider. So probably a 3-man with you.
Okay. So so you're flailing and screaming out with nightmares is not related to the 3-person.
No, that's not even an issue.
All right. Well, the Mountain Ultra comes in a 3-person size, so just
I'm set. I'm set.
Okay. All right.
Set.
Okay, so I got National Parks trivia.
All right,
neither of us have lost a trivia yet this season, and
let's see if we can make me look as stupid as possible. Here we go. Here we go.
I'm not trying to.
I'm
just asking you simple questions.
Folks, he's already Googled me every answer I gave tonight, and he was wrong every time.
Okay. The last time we had National Parks trivia, you passed, so I don't know what you're talking about. And one of the questions is the 3rd time we're asking this in trivia, so you should get this one right. That's number 1.
Have I got it wrong every time? Is that why?
I think you've asked it once and I've asked it once, and I think we both got it wrong.
I feel like I'm supposed to fail this trivia just to make things look a little easier for you.
We'll see. What is the number 1 most visited national park?
Oh, gosh.
Is it okay? This is actually funny. Is it A, Smoky Mountain, B, Yellowstone, C, Grand Canyon, or letter D? I really had this written down before we started meeting up. Big Sur. I really had that on the list. Like truly. That was one of my answers, and you had the Big Sur mug. That's funny.
Look who's silly now, huh? Yeah,
I know I'm silly.
I'm glad you at least admitted that. That's huge. Okay, so Great Smoky Mountain National. What was it? Yosemite. What was the other one?
Yellowstone.
Oh, I'm leaning. It's not. I would think it's Yosemite. I don't think it's Yosemite though. I think it's either.
I'll give you a hint on that. I'll give you a big hint. It's definitely not Yosemite, since that was not one of the options.
Oh, I thought you said Yosemite. Okay, I mean Yellowstone, not Yosemite. I want to say it's. It's either Grand Canyon or. I'm gonna say Great Smoky Mountain.
Okay, Smoky Mountain is correct.
Yes.
3 times the charm. You got it right.
Yes.
You got it right.
I thought it was Grand
Number
Canyon.
2, which national park is in North Dakota?
Oh,
A,
gosh.
Badlands, B, Theodore Roosevelt, C, Mount Rushmore, or D, Black Hills?
Oh, national park in Dakotas.
North Dakota.
North
Two
Dakota.
Dakotas. The other one was South Dakota. FYI.
I know the Badlands are over there. I want to say that's I think that's South Dakota. I think because I remember watching the show Into the Badlands, and I think somebody said, I think that's South Dakota. Is that South Dakota?
Okay.
So what was the other one? Theodore Roosevelt. What was the other one?
Mount Rushmore, Black Hills.
Oh, Black Hills. I don't think it's. I think it's Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Is that it?
Your answer?
Yeah.
Is that your answer?
Final.
Correct. Wow, 2 for 2. Number 3.
Are you a little annoyed right now? Are you a little annoyed that I'm getting all these right?
I'm excited for you.
Are you?
I'm rooting for you.
The Googling earlier didn't really send that message, but okay, go.
Yeah. Well,
continue.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yellowstone was the first national park established in 1872. Which president made it happen? A. Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, we
B.
did this before.
Abraham Lincoln. C. Theodore Roosevelt. Or D. Woodrow Wilson.
We did this question before.
Did we?
I've heard this before. Yeah, I've heard this question before. It was like some deal. Yeah, it was some deal. Okay, so it's Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow, and what was the other one? Ulysses S. Grant? No, I did
Ulysses S. Grant.
Ulysses. Okay. I'm gonna say no Abraham. No Ulysses. I don't think so. I want it Woodrow or what was the other one?
Theo.
Was it? That's. I feel like would we do back-to-back Theos? Shoot.
Would definitely throw you off.
It would throw me off. I'm gonna say
I would do something like that.
Now I'm leaning towards not doing it. See, I think but you know that. You know that I would think that. I'm like leveling myself. Let's just go Theo. I think it's Woodrow, but I'm gonna go Theo.
All right. Incorrect on both accounts. It was Ulysses S. Grant, my friend.
Oh, it was.
Grant.
Do you have the story behind it? Wasn't it like he did something to protect it for some reason?
Yeah,
something?
he was the general in the Civil War that like lost a bunch, then eventually won, and then he was a couple presidents after Abraham Lincoln, and that's all I really know about him. He didn't. I don't know that he did a whole lot as president, but yeah. Anyway,
okay. Shoot.
You still passed, so well done. Good job.
All right.
Yeah. All right. The last tidbit I got is I got a text today from Devin Ashby, Backcountry Exposure, famous YouTube channel. Love that guy. He just texted me. He's like, I'm just so glad that Derek's back on the show. He was happy to hear your voice back on the show.
Thank you.
And
good to be back.
Yeah, we'll have Devin on if he's willing to come on. That is, I haven't asked him officially yet, but hopefully this upcoming season. And he always does some good stuff. So, Devin, thanks, man. We appreciate you. That's all I got.
That is all I have. That was fabulous. It's good to be back. Thank you guys. We have gotten some kind messages from everybody being back. It was a rough time away. I don't know if Carl gave you all the details. I'm not happy, but for those of you that didn't hear, one of my daughters passed away. So that is why I stepped away and just had some time to kind of reflect. I wasn't in a mood to entertain, which is weird to say because I'm always in the mood to entertain people, make them smile. So it's good to be back. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you next time on the B&B, and go find a trail that's not made of sludge, radioactive waste, or poison ivy. We will see you there.